So I was searching around, and I was like, I've got to find something else for Tim. Even if it's like a gag gift, I have to have something else. We've been talking about doing this podcast. I came across the perfect thing. It's huge. It's this 30-inch Power Ranger action figure.
Oh God.
The Red Ranger. That's what I'm going to get Tim.
You your phone is seriously going off?
Nope.
There's a little switch on the side. Silent. Welcome to Henshin Comprehension. I'm Tim.
And I'm Ryan.
We're coming to you in crystal clear audio of 128 kiloboots.
This is a podcast where we watch Japanese superhero shows.
Is it 128?
Try to comprehend them with our mushy American brains.
Feel free to watch the episode we reference in this show.
But finding it's up to you.
You can also just sit back and listen to this podcast for what it is.
It'll still be fun.
In this week's inaugural podcast, we choose a series to watch.
And lock it in.
In any case, get ready, because here's the show.
Let's listen, shall we?
Okay, so you didn't get the Ranger. Why? What stopped you?
I did get the Ranger. I got the Ranger. I built a box for it to send you in, and I wrote on the back of the action figure. I wrote, "Tim, you are my Red Ranger." and I wrapped it up, got it all ready, and realized that it was too close to Christmas and it would cost an astronomical price to send it out to you.
What Red Ranger was it anyway? You still haven't told me which team it was from.
Whatever's on now. I guess there's a new one. Is it Megaforce or something? But
is it Megaforce or is it the one that comes after it?
I don't know.
Because one team is just objectively better, my friend.
All right. This is why we're doing this. You're going to school me. So I would have sent this to you and you just would have gone, boo.
I like the fact that it's the size of a small child. Like that would scare the crap out of anyone.
So you're saying I should still send it to you because I can?
You definitely should. You still want to watch Jetman, by the way? Because I could change it. I could throw you a curveball here at the last second.
Shift, pivot. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Honestly, I going into this, I thought I could go any which way. So whatever you want to do, we can do. I'm ready.
Whatever we embark upon here will have ramifications for the next year.
It's a big commitment.
I think we're going to commit to Choujin Sentai Jetman.
Woohoo! Yeah!
It is the 15th Sentai. 15th one in a long line of Super Sentai from the Toei Corporation of Japan. It's right before Zyuranger, which is the first Sentai team that ever made it to America in the form of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It was edited into a new show.
Cool.
Incorporating new American footage. Zyuranger comes right after Jetman, and Jetman is the one in Japan that comes right before that show, and it's actually quite excellent. It's a bird-themed team. They're birds.
I love birds.
The opening credits are, I think, some of the best in all of Sentai history. The subbing team is Grown Ups in Spandex. I'm pretty sure that's the only team that's ever subbed Jetman.
Okay.
Do a pretty good job. I think they probably have the best name of any sub team that I can think of. But we're going to start with the first episode. Like I said before, like I was telling you before, I don't know if the plot arc is finished by the end of this first episode.
Okay.
I think it's a continuing plot arc into the next episode.
Let's do it.
Are you ready? But are you ready? Because this is the first step, the first of 51 steps. Are you prepared? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready to scale the mountain. I'm ready to do this.
You adequately emblazoned.
I've been training for months.
Here we go.
All right. See you on the other side.
Choujin Sentai Jetman. Jetman.
That was dense.
Yeah, so that was a very, very dense first episode.
And it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's quite the cliffhanger. I warned you that it would be a cliffhanger, though. I told you it would be.
You know, they spend the entire episode building this whole world. And then in the very last scene, they're like, they kind of leave you with, and it's only half done. The team's only half assembled. And here's a room full of bad guys you haven't met yet.
Yeah, exactly. But let's start at the beginning as we begin this journey of Jetman with the theme song. That's like the first thing you see is the theme song, the first thing you hear.
Yeah.
So what did you think of that?
It was great. It was really energetic and starts with that like guitar squeal, and it's a really cool intro, and it's like exciting with all the jets flying around buildings and like introducing the characters.
The winged squadron, Jetman.
Yeah, the lyrics are great. They were born from a dream, it says. Warriors of the future.
Saving us every time while flying past time.
Probably my favorite line.
I liked that.
Yeah. Our Jetman will burn their warm hearts of justice. There's never the plural of Jetman is Jetman throughout the entire episode.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about pluralization. Like, I just don't think the Japanese language kind of allows for the sort of pluralization that's in English because of the phonetic structure of transliteration of words. So you'll see that a lot in a lot of Sentai. There's like live man and mask man, but it's to denote an entire team, but it's like the singular of a hero. Because I mean, they I don't think that they were really exposed to superheroes in the same way. Like it's an American thing, Superman and Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So you kind of just assume that it'll end in man and that superheroes will just have man in their name. It's never really, men. So I guess they don't pluralize it. Like some of the subs will pluralize Jetmen when referring to, the multiple members of the team, but it's not really built into the Japanese language, which is another thing. Like with Jetman, how they emphasize the Jetman. It's not just like Jetman.
Yeah.
It's because of that same phonetical, phonology of the transliteration of like piecewise syllabic construction of like English words in Japanese. And the reason they don't do like Jetmanu is because it's like acceptable that N is like a consonant sounding sort of nasal ending to a word, because they do it with like Chan and San, but they don't do it with like a T consonant ending. So that's why you have like Jetman.
Right.
I don't want to get too serious talking about this superhero Japanese television show, but it's a little bit about why they do that at least. But yeah, the song is really great. I love the song. It's one of my favorite Sentai themes.
It is great, and it ends with, if you call out that name to the wind, oh Jetman. And I was taking note of the different birds they're supposed to be.
Right.
So I have them here. The red
hawk.
The red hawk. The swan,
white swan,
who's actually pink.
She's pink and white.
Pink and white. The owl, which is yellow.
Yellow owl.
And like, what is it? A swallow, the blue
swallow,
lady?
Yeah.
Blue
swallow actually does not appear in this episode, nor does Black Condor, who's also in the opening credits. Like I said, it's really half of an episode. There's not like so much that you can fit into 20 minutes, and they did their best to try and fit as much as they could.
Right.
But
and they fit a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty dense.
Well, at the end, they all they beam down into like a cityscape, mm-hmm. which is really cool, and it's something I recognize from Power Rangers. It is something I always thought was really cool.
Right.
Oh, and their suits look great. Like the design of the suits is really cool in this, because at the very end of the opening sequence, you get a full sort of look at the costumes, and they're very, very well designed. They're cool looking. Good
costumes, good theme song. Anyway, so it starts. The episode begins really abruptly. Just to let you know, we're in like the future age, but it actually says it's taking place.
Say 1990X.
Okay, so it says it takes place in 1990X. Yes, you are correct.
At the Skyforce Earth ship is this floating station. And
I didn't know we were so advanced in the 90s. Like, I had no idea.
I know.
At least Japan had gotten that far.
I was just a kid. I guess I don't remember everything.
I guess the X could be filled in with like, I don't know, any number. So maybe it's like 1990 20 or something.
Yeah, it could be way in the future. For all we know.
Way still in the future. Some digit that we have not invented yet.
So apparently it's like a surveillance for the whole Earth.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like a spy satellite of justice is what it seems like. Watches out over the piece of Earth.
And at the very beginning, the Earth ship spots an out-of-control robot, it says. He's out of control.
There's trouble at point 17.7. But yeah, the robot is out of control in this point. The rogue robot, I guess, decked to the teeth with weaponry. I don't know what this robot was for before, but he is very well armed.
Yeah, and he's wreaking havoc in some sort of factory or I don't know, some large building of some type, and everyone's running and pillars are collapsing.
Yeah,
lasers are shooting off everywhere.
This is a disaster, is what this is. It's a PR nightmare for whatever company this is that designed this robot. But it seems like they had encountered this kind of thing before. This was like a normal occurrence for Skyforce to be dealing with. They're like, oh, it's another robot out of control. Like they had a code for it. Like they send out their mission specialists, Ryu and Rie.
Skyforce number 06 現場に到着
Number 03.
The response time is very quick.
Seconds.
For these agents. Seconds. They are on the scene in less than a minute.
And they arrive on like dirt bikes.
They look like they're on top of it. Like they're going to get stuff done. But like before they even report in, there's an incident that they have to take care of. A woman behind them screams out that she's about to throw her baby into the air. Like, even before it happens, she knows what's going down. She throws the baby straight up in the air, and Rie responds by leaping toward it, catching it midair. She's on top of, she's so on top of this that she's like getting there before she needs to be there. Perfect timing.
And Rai, how do you say her name?
Okay, it's Ryu is the guy.
Ryu.
Like Street Fighter. And then Rie, it's Rie. I think you say it Rie.
Rie.
It seemed to be that they were saying it Rie, so okay. That's how I'm going to say it.
And so she has this baby in her arms, and she's like there's babies falling out of the sky out here, but indoors there's a robot on the loose. So she goes, more importantly, push the robot's cancel switch. Yeah, he's to remind him why they're there.
It seems like you could easily delegate that to sort of a remote function for the robot, but instead it's a switch on the surface of the front of the robot only. And that's what they're there to do. It's not to destroy the robot. Like, whoever's robot that is probably wants the robot after this is all over. So they don't want to destroy it. They got to cancel what it's doing with the cancel switch.
And make sure you push the cancel switch.
So anyway, Ryu, renewed in his purpose, reminded by Rie, who is holding a weeping baby, a wailing baby, gets on his bike. He revs that thing up, and he charges straight toward that robot, which is just blasting off sort of randomly in the air. He gets hit twice in the shoulders too, and he just keeps on trucking straight toward it.
Yeah.
He is not phased. Jumps off his bike in a similar fashion to Rie and slaps that cancel switch.
He flies through the air, arm extended, and just barely with his fingertips pushes the cancel switch. So Rie runs up to him and goes, "That was wonderful!" Like she's very, very impressed.
Well, it's not
still not concerned about the baby she's holding.
Well, it's not just her though. It's everybody on the Earth ship Skyforce base is very impressed as well.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
They're just in love with these two. They're like, they always put on a great show. Like, this isn't the first time they've done something just insane.
So then this commander lady, which I'm not sure we ever get her name.
I don't think you ever get her name in the entirety of the series.
Wow.
She's simply referred to as the commander. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. This is, like I said, it's been a while since I saw this show. But yeah, she like walks in and she's like, "Who are those guys?" Like she doesn't know any of the personnel under her. She
she says, make sure you nominate them. Like, that was impressive. Make sure you nominate them for the J project.
Yeah.
So mysterious.
Those guys are perfect for the J program. Like, these guys are prime material.
J プロジェクト要員として推薦したい。
And then the title screen pops up. Find the warriors.
Find them.
Subtitle, almost all the warriors.
Come back next week for the rest. But then after it does that, it comes back and Rie name drops the show. Like, just like, Choujin Sentai?
Huh?
I'm in a show?
Choujin Sentai?
Anyway, so like then the commander proceeds to kind of tell them about the J project program, whatever it's called. And she wants to blast them with like this Birdonic waiver, or maybe make them sign like some kind of waiver. I don't really know.
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
But she said it was. I thought it was pretty funny. She said it was created with national fundings.
As they are.
Anyway, she wants them to like surpass humanity in this project. Rie is like, oh, really? Surpassing humanity? Wouldn't that make us monsters? And the commander just like waves her off. She's like, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, that's not your problem.
Surpass humanity. No, it's just eugenics. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
She's like, it all depends on courage, which must be a genetic trait. I don't know.
Yeah, courage is genetic for sure.
Then Ryu kind of nervously asks if they'll be split up.
Yeah.
And the commander goes, so you guys get along good, huh?
She like clearly does not know anything about these two people that she is the commander over, because they like immediately like hold hands in front of her. It doesn't look like they are, that closed off about their clear relationship with one another. So if she had spent any time previously with them or had read their file at all, she would know that they're not just partners, they're, partners. But she has to remind them to stop, PDAing in front of her. And they're like, oh, whoops. We didn't realize we were holding hands professionally. Yeah. I love the way that they end this scene, too. They just like smash cut away from it for about a second.
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah, just 1 second. 1 exact second of Vyram's evil fortress, Vyrock. And you don't know at this point who Vyram is. Like, Vyram's the evil organization.
Or what you're looking at, because at this point, it's like a red cloud in space.
Yeah, it's like a pulsing, colorful, sort of reddish cloud. And you're like, what? That's a rock? It doesn't hit you as very imposing, even at this point.
And then you're going, oh, well, they're going to show us once it's set. Nope.
Yeah, you think this is establishing, the exterior of this base so that you can go inside it and see what's going on. But they don't. They just cut away back to Skyforce Earth ship, where inside everyone has gathered for the ceremony that is to create the Jetmen with the Birdonic waiver.
The commander says, force down. Stand by.
And I guess they just glossed over the other 3 candidates, but they're there too, standing next to Rie and Ryu. Like, they're ready to go. They're ready to become Jetmen, whatever. And I really liked the Birdonic waiver. It was like a normal leather chair, like an office chair.
It's an easy chair.
With, like, above it, it's like a crystal chandelier with like a red flashing light attached to the bottom of it.
Like the process is pretty taxing. They want you to be comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess they want everyone else to be really comfortable too, because there's no protective gear on anyone.
Well, except for the onlookers, they all have glasses, sunglasses on.
Except for the horn-rimmed, slightly tinted, ever so slightly tinted, protective sunglasses that everyone has. But there's no restraints on Rie when he is put in the Birdonic waiver at all. And there's no barrier between the onlookers and the Birdonic wave machine.
It's casual. It's a casual event.
But I mean, it's made pretty clear that both of those things would have been pretty necessary, because Ryu starts like shouting in pain when they turn it on. And it looks like he's about to like jump up out of the seat. And then Rie immediately tries to like run to his aid. So it seems like both of those things probably should have been integrated in the machine's design to keep both of those things from happening. But the commander is there, so I guess the commander is really all you need. She's like, you gotta stay in there. Got to use your courage to overcome it. And she holds back Rie forcibly. She seems very strong, the commander, throughout this whole episode. She's very physically imposing.
Well, so it starts like pumping him through full of red rays and electricity and all this stuff. And he starts to like hallucinate. And he sees a lot of interesting things.
A lot of trippy images.
So this is what I have that he saw. Underwater oceans, atom colliders, drawings from Leonardo da Vinci.
That's what I hallucinate about.
Cellular plant life.
Ooh.
But he also sees nebulas from space, and of course, a hawk, falcon, bird.
Yeah, it seems like they try to incorporate a couple birds at the end. I feel like they kind of forgot. Oh yeah, this is a birdonic wave. I think we're forgetting about the birds that should be incorporated in these.
and it's all like left to the end too. Like, oh yeah, we gotta fit this in.
Yeah, just toss a couple birds in sequence. But he takes it very well, I think, for what is seemingly like a physiologically transformative experience delegated to this ray. He seems to take it very well. Like, I don't think that I would have taken it as well. He's just getting blasted down the throat with this ray too. Like, it looks pretty painful.
Yeah, going in, she's just like, get in the chair, and he's like, okay, you got it. Like, no hesitation. Just complete and unquestioning obedience. He was ready.
Yeah. Well, anyway, like this is happening. Like as it is, Vyrock appears right outside the station, the Vyram base, and it starts to mess with all the happenings inside of the Skyforce base.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, things start like exploding everywhere, like it's like a Star Trek set. And then like this projection just pops up in the middle of the staging area, and it's this like purple monster guy from Vyram. I think his name was Radagay.
So he says, "We are controllers of every living creature, beginning and end." And everyone's like, "Oh wow, wait, what?" And then to clear it up, he goes, "In other words, we're gods."
Yeah, he does that a lot. I feel like he wasn't that prepared for what, like, that he was going to be addressing everyone on Earth. He was very quick to backpedal in what he was saying. He's like, you know, like, in other words, we're going to kill all of you. In other words, like, you should probably kneel and stuff. Whatever. He didn't seem too concerned about the fact that he was addressing everyone. I was pretty fixated on the fact that Radagay was like somehow using some kind of technology to pop up everywhere. Like he popped up in some guy's coffee. He also popped up in like mirrors of like a women's restroom, which I thought was it was pretty creepy.
Yeah, he starts appearing over cities saying kneel. You know, kind of just wherever you're glancing, he's like bloop.
Yeah, I see. I thought he was the guy was like reading a paper. I thought he was gonna pop up like on the front page.
Yeah.
But that threw me for a loop when his eye was in the guy's coffee. That was crazy. And in lieu of like a surface to appear on, he'll just appear floating in air in front of you. He doesn't care.
Or he'll just be outside your window being like, hey, stop what you're doing. I'm out here. Hey, listen up.
Hey, Neil. Which would be confusing if your name was Neil. I mean, you can't see the subs.
So he says, from this moment on, you will be controlled by us.
Yeah.
In just 1 minute, we'll destroy the Earth ship. That's what we're going to do next.
Just to prove that we can.
At least he's always clarifying, and he's giving everyone a heads up. So he's like, look out, guys, you're going to die. So, you know. He's
very forthcoming, though. It's not like he's very veiled about his threats. He's telling you exactly what's happening, what's gonna happen. And he's the only member of Vyram we've met so far, so we don't even know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Seems genuine because he immediately does send a bunch of destructive waves toward the Skyforce Earth ship. Like he seems like he's following up on his threats.
So I'm watching this, and you know the space station is getting pummeled with these waves of Vyram force, and like a hole gets punched in the wall, and Rie almost gets sucked out. I'm like, oh no, she's almost gonna get sucked out, but then she's gone.
Yeah, like it just blows open like a hole in the wall. She gets sucked out like about halfway, but then Ryu, who is I guess unaffected by any of these forces, and also the commander who's standing right next to him, kind of run over and try to grab her out of the vacuum. But it's continually pulling on her, and it doesn't seem like the traction of Ryu's shoes are going to hold up against the vacuum pulling her, or I guess pushing her out into space, this explosive decompression, which is only affecting her. And it does, like it just blasts her out into the void of space. And Ryu is like, he immediately just wants to go after her. He's racked with grief. He wants to just, I guess, jump out into space. And the commander has to punch him in the stomach to subdue him, to knock him out, and run over to a ship. I still don't understand how Rie was the only one that got sucked out.
It was the Virum force.
It was the first of many instances where the commander seems to be far more qualified to be Earth-saving hero than any of the Jetmen. Because, I mean, he just got blasted with the Birdonic wave, right? Shouldn't he be a super soldier right now? But she just punches him straight up in the solar plexus. He goes down. One hit. KO.
We see that also in the scene that the Birdemic device is destroyed. And all the energy gets sucked out of it, and all the different colored lightning like goes out the window.
Yeah. The station is destroyed. The Birdonic waver is blasted out into space. Ryu and the commander escape. I think they might be the only ones of the entire Skyforce station. Just kind of sad, actually. Takes out everybody except for the commander and Ryu, the only surviving Jetman at this point. And it blasts those Birdonic waves into space. And
towards Earth.
Yeah, towards Earth. And all those beams, unsurprisingly, hit a bunch of young, single Japanese people. At least it's all in one area. It'll be a lot easier for them to find them. So yeah, that happens. It blasts those waves out. Then it cuts to Radiguet tossing this monster out to attack Tokyo, I suppose.
Well, then we arrive at Sky Camp.
Sky Camp. Yes, Sky Camp is the next one.
Ryu awakens, but he's still concerned with Rie.
Yeah, he
still thinks, like, I gotta get after her. I still gotta get after her.
It's like he doesn't realize that, like, she probably died hours ago, either from the extended exposure to the freezing vacuum of space, or probably, like, alternately was incinerated in that giant explosion that destroyed the entire Skyforce base. But he just jumps up. He's like, let's go find her. She's probably still fine somewhere. Yeah, and he just jumps into the arms of the commander. And this is what I didn't get. Like, he was like, oh, let me go. But he had jumped into her arms, almost as if he wanted to be stopped. But I guess he was not counting on the commander slapping him across the room.
Yeah, she says, please cry, so you will never cry again.
Yeah, he cries. He starts crying after she confronts him. She's like, dude, Rie is totally dead. Like, there's no way she survived that. He starts weeping openly, and she has no pity. She's like, cry right now because we got stuff to do.
And she snaps the bracelet on his wrist.
Yeah.
You have already become a Jetman, she tells him. She lets him know that now we have to find your teammates.
Yes.
Which then cuts to commercial. Like, we got to find your teammates. Ba-bow! They're right here.
Yeah, they're all here.
They're here in the commercial break.
Shows all the teammates so that at some point all these people will be on the team. Shows all the suits too on the following bump that comes after the commercials.
I like how they're all just kind of hanging out, posing.
I guess you were kind of already spoiled though from the theme intro.
So they call it the dimensional bug now.
Yeah, somewhere in Japan there's this dimensional bug.
He's terrorizing people, vaporizing them with his tongue tentacle thing.
Yeah, it seems, I don't even know what is he sucking them into his body?
They seem to be like turning into puffs of smoke. I don't understand. Like he kind of wraps them up and then they're just going to go.
Either they're just being killed or they're being transferred to somewhere. It seems like it was into his abdomen, his right. Insect abdomen. But he was like leaving their clothes behind, so they were naked somewhere, wherever they were.
And what I didn't understand, and it doesn't really follow up on this, is, then his abdomen grows and kind of like it gets so heavy it sort of like sags to the ground, and then there's like a little farting sound.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I guess he was full.
And that's it. We're just left with that.
Yeah. I think it's really unpleasant that he left their clothes behind, especially given the fact that he not just takes like a businessman who looks like he was middle-aged, but he takes like 2 children right off their bikes.
Wearing like little like baseball uniforms. Just coming home from practice.
Yeah.
Poor kids.
So, but meanwhile, somewhere else in Japan, because, I mean, it's really only just Japan that this is happening in. Ryu and the commander are trying to use this Birdonic wave tracker to track down the remaining Jetman teammates.
And they arrive at Downton Abbey.
What kind of car do you think Ryu is driving? I guess we could always look it up.
It is kind of cool.
Pretty cool, sort of late 80s model. I didn't really...
Convertible.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, they arrive at this stately manor, and this is where they meet their first teammate. She's dressed traditionally, like sort of...
The robe and all that.
Yeah, the kimono. She's looking very overdressed for what's going on. She's just hanging out at home. And she thinks that they're asking her to become a gentleman, which she seems geared up to want to do anyway.
Yeah, she's like, so you want me to become a gentleman? Yeah, okay. Like, all right.
I've been waiting for someone to come whisk me away.
Yeah, 2 strangers arrive at my house asking me to change my orientation. Why not? And the commander's like, no, stupid, a Jetman.
Yeah, they have to tell her multiple times.
Like, don't you know what a Jetman is? Come on.
Yeah, they just made it up. They have told no one. It's a super secret project. They're expecting her to just know that they're talking about Jetmen.
And Ryu's like, come on, lend us your power. He says, at this rate, my precious Ray will. And he gets cut off, and it's like, well, what? Is she going to run out of breath? Like, is she still out there?
I
What's
guess.
happening?
Yeah, I don't know. The dimples on this girl, though, this Kiari. Oh, man. I get lost in those dimples.
But then he's like, but what does it matter? This is done for anyhow.
Yeah, he's really, he doesn't seem that positive about this. I feel like the commander really is the rock of this team so far. He has no faith in any of this. But anyway, she's gung-ho. She's done. She's done with her boring life. She's ready to hit the road, become a jetman or gentleman or whatever. She doesn't care. She's like, I need to get out of the house.
What? Yeah, she doesn't.
So it didn't take much to get her to come with her. But like immediately they leave and go and find Raida, who is Yellow Owl. And he's pretty much just Dwight Schrute if he was like a Japanese guy.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he's like farming some vegetables when they come upon him. And he's like, nope, I'm not going.
He's like, I didn't ask for this. He's like, my job is making vegetables. So Ryu and the commander kind of give up.
Yeah, they can't convince him. They're like, nope, we don't have time for this.
And Kiari's like, I'll try to convince him. And they're like, go ahead.
leaving the 2 Jetmen that they've already found alone together, I guess in the same place, but they're probably going to come back and get them. But it just seems like once you find the Jetmen, you shouldn't take no for an answer. Like they have the technology already inside them to be Sentai.
Yeah.
Shouldn't just be like, screw it. You know what? You stay here too. We're going to go find some more. We'll be back.
Yeah, they're pretty important. But so she starts flirting with Dwight Schrute. and it cuts to her freaking out about the size of his cucumbers.
She thinks
Just
they're
shots
beautiful.
and shots of cucumbers and her like squealing, and she goes, I didn't know vegetables could be this beautiful.
Yeah. She loves his vegetables. They're delicious. From what she says, at least.
ほら食べてみろよこうやって食べるのが一番うまいんだ
But I guess I was vindicated in what I said, because right after they leave, Radiguet like seizes this opportunity and his hand appears in the sky and he drops out some henchmen. So yeah, like they probably shouldn't have just left those Jetmen alone. So they start to try and fight them because these henchmen are starting to screw up Yellow Owl's field of vegetables.
Like the Foot Clan appears and starts trampling all over his vegetables.
Which, if that had not happened, he probably would not have joined the Jetman bird squadron. Like he never would have joined them. But
yeah, it started happening, and I'm like, there you go. That's all the motivation he needs there.
Yeah, he can't forgive that.
Good thing. Yeah, that's what he says.
But they make the call. White Swan calls Ryu, who's leaving the scene, to go find another Jetman.
Yeah, so not long before, they had left in the vehicle, and then they called him for help, and instead of turning around to go help them, he drives all the way back to Skybase to go grab his jet.
He flies the jet through the city. Seems like he takes a pretty scenic route.
It dangerously weaves through buildings. As the crow flies.
But what really struck me is that he got there. He got to the battle scene above the Shroot farm. He jumps the F out of his Jet Hawk in mid-flight with no regard for where that's going to land. With no parachute. No parachute.
Oh, yeah.
And changes into a Jetman for the first time in midair and flies into the battle. Like, it seems like he's presuming a whole lot doing that. Don't you think so?
Oh, yeah.
That could have ended really badly for him had the suit not had wings. Like, maybe the commander told him about it, but he's never used them before. Still, like, it seems really odd that you would choose that moment to attempt to fly the first time.
So yeah, he's like swoops down and does several passes and all the bad guys, kind of like trying to cut them down with his wings, which are really cool. Like they like fold out and
they're pretty cool.
Are like almost like blades,
I just like, what if it had been out of batteries? What if his little wrist communicator had been low on batteries and had not worked? Would have been catastrophic for all of Earth. Seems reckless. Very reckless, Ryu. But yeah, he like tosses a bracelet onto Raida's wrist from about 50 yards away. I think at this point he's kind of hitting his stride. Like the Birdonic waiver has like started to kick in. Like he's getting really good at what he's doing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he implores the other two to help him in his fight by transforming into Jetmen. But before he can kind of finish what he's saying, the dimensional bug kind of opens up like a dimensional portal behind him and grabs him by the neck.
Yeah, grabs him by the neck, throws him to the ground, and separates him from the other two for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's busy, the other two get sort of roughed up and like pushed off a cliff.
Yeah,
suddenly
they're like kind of forced to the edge of a cliff. Like a bunch of explosions happen, and they kind of get to the edge of the cliff, and then the henchmen just like they shoot them off of the cliff with another explosion. They're just like, oh, we got this. And I guess Ryu has realized by this point that he's forgotten to tell them how to transform. Like he did not mention how to do it at all. Like they'd recently seen him do it, but he was pretty far away when it happened. So he screams out how to do it. You just have to slap one of the buttons on the bracelet. And luckily they're falling for a really long time because I guess the farm that Yellow Owl owns is right by like a huge canyon.
Yeah, it's like right on the edge of the freaking Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And you watch them, the two little specks fall like Wile E. Coyote down.
Yeah. Yeah, so they slap their bracelets, they transform into Jetman in the nick of time, and they fly back up to the top of the canyon. But Yellow Owl, like I was saying before, it's like this is the first time they've ever done this. Yellow Owl does not have a grasp on how to fly in a wingsuit at all. Yeah, kind of clumsily crashes his way into the battle. Even while the theme is still playing, the Jetman theme starts playing, and they're still not doing anything heroic at this point.
And so they kind of land and collect themselves, and he goes, anyone that ruins my precious field is unforgivable.
Yeah, he loves his vegetables. He's very proud of these vegetables. They're not just like a source of income. They're a source of pride for Yellow Owl.
Source of identity.
He's got his identity wrapped up in these vegetables, which seems weird that he's an owl, which is a predator exclusively. I don't think owls eat anything but other, like small rodents.
Right.
I don't think they eat any vegetables, which seems weird. Anyway, so like Red Hawk, Ryu, rushes into battle using his bringer sword. I guess because he brings it with him.
Yeah. He brings it or he's like, bring it.
Yeah,
whenever
he's
he
like,
takes
bring
it out.
guys. You better bring it.
Where does that come from?
I have no idea. That one is beyond me. Maybe because it sounds slightly bird-like. Bird, bring. I don't know. I have no idea.
Interesting.
but it doesn't seem like the other two really know how to fight or what this whole Sentai thing is about.
Yeah, they kind of fumble their way through the rest of this.
Yeah. White Swan actually tells the henchman to kind of like stay away from her, and she like trips on her way into battle, and then
just kind of stop it.
And then she's like summarily beaten. Like they just beat the crap out of her. Yellow Owl's not doing much better though. Like they're kind of taking it to him too. Thought it was really weird. He like jumped into the arms of one of the henchmen and it's like face blinked. I guess maybe
that's right.
Was it blushing? Is that like the alien equivalent of blushing?
Maybe.
Well, it makes Raida like uncomfortable enough to kind of like want to get out of that situation at least. So he like jumps out of the arms of this thing onto the ground. But Ryu's like the only one that's having any success in this battle. But then the Monster of the Week comes back and like grabs him by the face yet again. It seems like they need 2 extra people in this battle, which they do not have yet.
Yeah, so it kind of grabs him by the face and starts reeling him in again. And then he takes out a little handgun that he had, and as it's sort of reeling him in, he just blows it in the face.
He just opens fire. And just blasts this thing in the face. And I guess wounds it pretty badly because it's just shooting sparks everywhere. Sparks are like the Sentai equivalent of blood. They don't really show blood that often, but they'll show sparks flying out of you like there's no tomorrow. I think that's the equivalent of blood.
That's pretty gory, really.
Yeah, it looks like he's really damaged this monster pretty badly. But before he can really give it the coup de grace, Radiguet cuts open a portal, and that thing just jumps into it. And the Sentai are kind of left to lick their wounds. So really no closure on that monster. I have no idea what happened to those kids or that businessman.
And then it goes to the commander, again, watching them on a screen.
Yeah, Ryu radios in to the commander.
She says they're not ready yet.
I thought it was weird that they had like a helmet feed for all of the Jetmen. Just staring at their faces.
Cool.
The entire battle? Like, don't you think that would get kind of uncomfortable? Like later you could watch back your feed of a battle and you'd be cringing in pain sometimes.
It reminded me of Iron Man.
Yeah, very Tony Stark-like. But yeah, like right after that, the episode kind of comes to a close, but not before the rest of Vyram is introduced. So like you were saying, there's, they're not really featured in the episode at all. They don't appear. Radiguet is the only member of Vyram that has any influence on like what is happening in this episode. But they introduce Gray, who is like some kind of robot.
A really cool robot.
Yeah, Gray's a pretty cool robot. Cool looking. I think all of Vyram kind of looks pretty cool.
And they introduce him with like a sideways shot, like they have him walk up, but the shot is sideways for some reason.
I think that they're walking all over Vyrock. Like all the surfaces of Vyrock have like artificial gravity or something. I don't know how it works. That's just how I interpreted it. But then it pans over to Tran, who's like floating down from some undisclosed spot in Vyrock.
Tran is cool, man.
It's like he's like a little space child with a scouter helmet thing.
He looks like he plays a lot of video games and that maybe he's living one.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And then of course Radiguet is there as well. You get to see all of Radiguet now though. His costume's pretty weird. It's like a big fiberglass thing going on. And then walks up Maria, the final member of Vyram. But did you notice anything? It's actually Rie.
Oh, really?
Oh, you didn't? You didn't?
No, I didn't. I guess that's what the zoom in on the eye was.
Yeah, it's actually Ryu's supposedly dead girlfriend, Rie.
No, yeah, with the get up and the makeup and
change.
stuff, I didn't recognize her.
It throws you off.
You know what she looks like to me? She looks like if Toad from Super Mario Brothers became a sexy warrior chick.
Yeah, she's got like a mushroom, really bouffant hat. And she also has like a fiberglass sort of horn coming off the side of her shoulder.
A lot like Radiguet.
Yeah, they have similar costume themes, kind of complementary. But that's because they're all part of the same Rogues Gallery, Vyram. Very complementary costumes. But yeah, then it kind of ends. That's supposed to be the twist.
Which I guess I completely missed.
But yeah, then the credits roll, the end song plays, and that's the end of the first episode of Jetman. You made it through.
Yes, we made it through.
It was very dense.
Yeah, it covers a lot of ground.
It's taken us a long time just to talk about it, and it's not even the entire arc. Like there's still half or 2/3 of an episode left. I don't remember how long the arc lasts, but it will continue on at least to the next episode of this show.
In part 2.
Part 2.
Episode 1 in the can. 51 more to go?
50 more to go.
Alrighty. We've embarked on the journey. I can't wait.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.